And we are live. Hello, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're tuning in from. We are fortunate enough tonight that we will be having a beautiful conversation with Mynoo Maryel about prosperity. And I know this is such a great topic and one that interests so many people. Now, something that I want you to know before we all get started here is Mynoo has transported herself from Dubai. I'm not sure where she went through, all the way to Berlin, and it's like 2 o'clock in the morning there. So we are so excited that she has been able to A, get there safely, and B, that she'll be here tonight with us. So as most of you know who come on regularly, we are streaming on 2 platforms. We're Facebook Live, and we also have Zoom. So I will be excited to allow a few people in early this evening, and Mynoo will be with us shortly. So I can't even fathom how she gets it all done. I don't know. She's like a miracle worker on another level. So Musty and Miracles is her thing. And yes, delivering over and over, regardless of the situation. That's how I see Mynoo. She just with ease, grace, and joy. So tonight, again, we're in for a treat as she will take us on a journey of the 7 facets to prosperity. So I know I'm excited about this. I host workshops on abundance and manifesting miracles as well. And this is such an important part of it, is this whole idea of prosperity. And I know I'm going to get a new perspective tonight. I always do. So make sure you get your pen and paper handy, because this is definitely a doing night. We will be writing a lot. So we'll have 1 hour with Mynoo where she takes us on this beautiful journey into prosperity. And I'm going to go ahead and let our guest come on in. So welcome everyone who's joining us, especially from the Zoom platform. Elisa, hello. And we have Karen joining us.
Hey, Elisa, yes.
Elisa, great. Thank you. It's so nice to have you with us. And our family is joining here. We have Mary Catherine. Hi, Karen. Kathy, Tracy. Hi, Joni. So welcome, everyone. And we have a host of people here with us on Facebook Live. And I just want to preface the conversation that we're going to be having with Mynoo tonight. She has flown all the way, as you know, from Dubai. She's landed in Berlin, and it's like some crazy hour of the night, like 2:30 in the morning, I believe. So very excited that she made it safely, and we are going to be graced with her presence as she takes us on the journey into prosperity and the 7 facets. So grab your paper and pen if you haven't, because I know this one's going to be fabulous. It always is. And welcome, everyone. Happy Thursday evening. So nice to see you. Welcome to our old friends and our new friends as well. All right. So I don't know about you guys, but this whole idea of abundance and prosperity is something that's near and dear to my heart. And I always appreciate the interesting and unique vantage point when Mynoo speaks about these subjects. So without further ado, Mynoo, let's go ahead and get you set up. Oops. Mynoo, your video is off. Oh, there you are. Okay, great. And we are ready. We are live, and Mynoo is in Berlin. So take it away. I'll handle the back office, so to speak.
Great. Thank you, Catherine.
Yes, I was asking you, how is it that you look as amazing as you do with like 0 sleep and 2:30 in the morning?
Yeah, I didn't have 0 sleep. I had 1 hour and 15 minutes of sleep. But I think my body hasn't adjusted to the new time zone. And the way I mean, you know, Catherine, I traveled the world a lot. And the way I kept myself centered and really not experiencing jet lag is by staying with one time zone throughout my travels. So, you know, sometimes I would have a longer siesta depending on where I was. But in terms of work and how I showed up, I just kept the same time zone. So I'm maintaining the Dubai time zone. So it's still early, but it's not as early as it is here right now.
Well,
So
pressed as always. And so that's the trick, staying on the right time zone, I suppose.
yes,
And
just
welcome.
consistent time zone.
So we are talking about prosperity tonight. Welcome, everyone. Very nice to have you here. And Mynoo, thank you so much for making this possible. I'm just so impressed that you were able to deliver with an hour sleep or an hour and a half or two, limited.
Great. Thank you, Catherine. And I am looking forward to today's session as well, because the way I received it was that the 7 flows that culminate into the flow of prosperity. So it's a different way of looking at prosperity, even different than how I have looked at it in the past. So let's look at the 7 flows that culminate into the flow of prosperity. And welcome to the new people, by the way, that are here. So it's really great to see you too. The other thing that I want to highlight is, there's so much that has been done on prosperity by so many amazing masters, both business as well as personal transformation and spiritual masters. And prosperity has been chosen as one of the 108 pearls. What we know when any particular topic is chosen as a pearl of wisdom, what we know and understand is that it is a pearl because if we just focused on that, that alone has the power to really support us to create a world that works for everyone. So prosperity has been chosen as one of the pearls. So it is in that inquiry that I received that, okay, there are 7 flows. I have done a clearing series on prosperity, clearing all sorts of energetic blocks that come in the way of prosperity. Prosperity clearing series. It's on my website, Maryel, and you can experience it. What is interesting for me, and the reason why I refer to that here, is when I looked at what are these 7 flows, they are slightly different than the ones that I worked on to clear in the clearing series. So they are really important, and some of them are make up the flows, but there are some new aspects which I had not envisaged that are also showing up. So let's look at the first one, the first flow. So the first flow that I'm seeing is, it's really the flow of mindset. So it is having a flow of a prosperity mindset. Now, what does this mean to have a prosperity mindset? A prosperity mindset is not about going for amassing a whole amount of money and stuff. A prosperity mindset is a mindset which is all about a holistic understanding of all that comes together to make you feel prosperous. So each person's prosperity mindset may be slightly different. Here's what prosperity actually means. It really means you being stationed in experiencing the experience of feeling whole and complete. So there is no lack. There is no too much either. Because people suffer from having too much as they put themselves into suffering in having too little. A prosperity mindset, when that is in flow, actually has you knowing, not experiencing. This is a knowing, has you knowing that all is exactly as it is meant to be and that you are whole and complete. So if the prosperity mindset, which is the first flow of prosperity, has you knowing that you are whole and complete, and you have exactly whatever it is that you require, then what it brings into focus is how do you get from wherever you're at to a state of knowing. A state of knowing is a very different state. A state of knowing is a very different state than thinking about something, hoping for it, wishing for it. You arrive at a state of knowing, and it's a very methodical, very logical way in which that progression occurs. You begin with data. That data gets converted to information. And there are some of you who've heard me say this a few times. You begin with data, data gets converted into information, that information
change. I said
Why?
no, because you didn't do anything to change.
No, please.
You
Please.
didn't do.
I thought.
There's Sarah.
Apologies for that. So I will just change our security. I think it was Joni and her lovely granddaughter, Casey, that we could hear. So I'm just removing the, okay, here we go. So the first flow of the flow in prosperity is the flow of your mindset. It's having a flow in your prosperity mindset, which, just to summarize so that we can connect the dots, it's about getting to a state of knowing that you are whole and complete, that there is no lack, there is only an abundant flow. So how do you get to a state of knowing? It's a very methodical step-by-step progression. Begins from data. Data then gets converted to information. As you process that data, that information gets converted into knowledge. And as you engage with that knowledge, it evolves into wisdom. And that wisdom, as you start implementing that wisdom, it literally gets you into your center. And as you get centered with that wisdom, it becomes a knowing. So now if you are to apply that to the flow in your mindset, and it's a mindset around prosperity, knowing that prosperity is what stations you in whole and complete, and it is the vibe of prosperity. Remember, I talk about every word has an innate vibration. The innate vibration of prosperity is whole and complete. There's a wholeness to it. So the data that is present for each person is different. It's not the same. So once you understand that the overarching formula, is converting that data, taking it all the way into knowing, then you begin with the data that you have. And here's the thing, what gets you away from feeling whole and complete? What interferes with experiencing the prosperity mindset in a state of flow is when you start getting very attached to the meaning that you give data. So data is data. It's just a set of facts. That's all it is. And that's why I say it begins with data. So around prosperity, it is one of those pieces that really does take people away from flow quite fast, because they get all mixed up between data, information, knowledge, because facts are not separated out from the meaning that they have given those facts. And it's the meaning that generates a response. And that response that adds to the meaning, and very soon the data is already forgotten. So there is data that is true to your life, and there is data that is true to the environment in which you are showing up. So there's data that is related to the external environment, as well as data that is relevant to you. So when you focus your attention on getting into a state of flow in this first flow of prosperity, which is your mindset, you begin with data. That exercise alone is so powerful, separating out what's the fact here. So if you feel an emotional charge, and whatever it is that you may have written or captured has got an emotional charge to it, there is still data that has to be sifted out of that. So you will benefit. I mean, literally, and those of you who've done certainly the business work with me, you've heard me say, that the key is to understand the problem precisely. Often more than 90%, 95, even 98% of the solution is found when you understand the problem precisely. So if the flow of prosperity is an issue, really the thing that's going to support you to understand what you can do to get that flow, the first flow you ought to bring in is the flow in your mindset around prosperity. So do not compromise or skimp or rush through the data piece. Once you've done the work on this is the data, then you can go into, okay, what am I reacting towards? And that's where you will start to see the meaning that you might have given to different elements of that data. And understanding the meaning that you have given, again, brings about a sense of detachment from meaning. Now you can see the data, the meaning you gave to it, and you can, from that, summarize or surmise for yourself. This is where knowledge is coming in. How you are to respond, or how you may have responded that requires to be changed. So you're now entering the knowledge phase. That knowledge arms you with what you are meant to do. And before you embark on doing, I always say the thing that adds a rejoicing vibe to this very mechanical process of moving from data to knowing is adding how you are going to be as you take what you have now classified and understood and separated and choose how you are going to be. There it starts to become wisdom. So choose your B word, or certainly a collection of B words that you are going to tap into as you start acting on the information you have gathered. And the more you get into taking action, and a concerted action at that, being the way you choose to be, that's where the knowing activation takes place. Being enables you to get into a state of centeredness, and doing can flow. We all always know really what we are meant to do. It's only when we attach the have to, must do, need to, where we go off flow of this prosperity mindset. And then doing takes over. And we enter that hamster wheel, thinking we're taking a step forward. So this is the first flow that is foundational to culminating into the flow in prosperity. The second flow. The second flow is money. Money in its energetic vibration is what this flow is about. So those of you who've done the work on your money mindset, you would have heard me talk about the energy of money. The energy of money that has been transformed to match the shift in the energetic signature of the planet itself, which is a more conscious and a higher enlightened frequency energy signature. So when I say the second flow that you are to get into as prosperity starts to flow is the flow of money in its redefined energetic signature, which is that it is a gift from our Creator, given into our hands as humans to make this planet a place of pure love and joy. Money, in the context of a flow element that culminates into the flow in prosperity, is a gift from our Creator, given into our hands as humans to make this planet a place of pure love and joy. You know, every word counts. This is a phrase, it's an odd phrase. And you know, I received this phrase when I was in the middle of my 18-month stint right in the heart of Wall Street. Meeting some pretty accomplished investment bankers at the time. And really what I was talking to them about was my vision of building a collection of palaces of extraordinary miracles around the world, which itself, I mean, those collection of words were odd for them to hear. But they got the vibe of it. They got what it was about. And it was there that I really got that very specific shift and transformation in the energy of money. Now, before that, I was in Bali, really going through my own series of awakenings. And Bali was the one that introduced me to cryptocurrency. Every Tuesday, there would be a bunch of us, Bitcoin enthusiasts. We would have a meeting about crypto and Bitcoin and what was happening in the annual conference of, the crypto experts. We hosted that in Bali as well. So I was getting to know that. I was getting to know what the basic foundation was about, what went on to create these things. So there was a part of me which also understood that we were very soon entering a realm where money wasn't the be all and end all of how life was to occur on the planet. And that date came and went. So it was very clear that money is here for several decades yet. And certainly in my lifetime, money is still going to continue to be quite an important currency, not the predominant one, but an important currency of transaction. And it was in that context that I received this amazing understanding that it is a gift given into the hands of us humans to make this planet a place of pure love and joy. I mean, here's the thing. If you really understand the data and the information and the knowledge part of this money piece, when the planet was created, there was no need for money. It was housed with a whole collection of living beings, living things, and humans came in at some point in its creation. The whole idea was that all of these living beings will co-create coexistence. That was the intention. There was no need for money. And at some point, money came in. There's a whole, another body of work on the creation of money when it originated, the origins and where it is now and where it is going. But really, it was originated as a way of creating some separation. And then that separation was very much infused with a high and a low. And the highs were then infused with command and control. So at a foundation level, when money as a unit of transaction was created, the energetics of it was that it was a device for command and control, and it was a device that introduced divisiveness, and that was its modus operandi of command and control. And it did it very well. That's what it did. I mean, the interesting thing was, you say, okay, it was created with that in mind, and the few people, worked with it that way. And then nobody needed to even know how it was created. It just started commanding and controlling to such an extent that it not just commanded and controlled us, through us, it started commanding and controlling the entire planet. And that just goes back to that originating intent with which it was created, a divisive transaction device that was infused with the energy of command and control. Okay, that's good to know. That initially humans had to work it because nobody understood why is this money thing important now. It took a while for it to take on, it didn't gain traction instantly. It took a few generations for that traction to start to build, and then it developed its own rhythm. Now here's the thing, what has happened with 2020 and the new energies that are in, that the speed with which new things are being anchored on the planet is super fast. Literally, click of a finger, blink of an eye, transformations are taking place. What is taking longer are things that were created by humans that are requiring to be changed. And money is one of those devices. So literally the divisiveness is taken out of it. So when money was created as a unit of transaction, it was a divisive currency designed to provide command and control through divisiveness. So the divisiveness is what has been taken out of the energy of money. And with that having been taken out, it is being tuned up to match the foundational energy of this new age, which is collaborative co-creation of coexistence. So money now is still a very powerful energy force. We have infused it with so much power by giving so much of our power away to it, that power it still holds, and it probably will stay that way in terms of being such a powerful force. It will not be the be all and end all. We are already experiencing this, and certainly the crown phenomenon has made that so blatantly clear to everyone that money wasn't the only way in which we thrived or even survived through that time. It was a collaborative co-creation of coexistence that got people through hunger, that got people through some of their basic necessities. People themselves did not have to have money. Maybe those that provided needed to use some of what they had. But money wasn't the one that was transacting. It was a collaborative co-creation of coexistence that was. So the energy of money through its concerted implementation over this crown phenomenon time, when the vibration of the planet was being uplifted so fast and old baggage was being released. Remember, it was a baggage-free flight completely. There was a shift that was taking place in the energy of money, of wisdom that I received in 2013 about what this new energy of money is. And we saw it playing out. And now with the advent of the relationship industry, which also sits on the foundation of collaborative co-creation of coexistence, money, it becomes a very powerful supporting energy. So if money is a gift from our Creator, given into our hands to make this planet a place of pure love and joy, there is no reason to have any other dialogue about it. It isn't bad. It isn't good. It's a gift. And you can use that gift to make this planet a place of pure love and joy. The more of us that step forward and open ourselves up to receive this gift, and remember, if that is the base energy of money, that it is a gift given from our Creator into the hands of you as a human to make this planet a place of pure love and joy, you use it for any other intents or purposes, there is no foundation to it. There is no anchor. Money will not stay there. That's not the energy. And we are seeing it, where it has continued to be used in a very strong, attached way to continue to wield command and control. Veils are being lifted. Systems and structures that provide protection for these old ways of using money are literally being disintegrated. And we could be sitting here, having lots of dialogue about this, the haves and the have-nots and stuff. And you've also heard me say the crown phenomenon is one of the biggest unifiers. It's not an equalizer, it's a unifier. It has unified us across different races, different cultures, different social strata. We were all susceptible, and we still are, to the virus. So there has been an energetic anchoring of this unifier energy that is there. So it only takes a few of us with our holographic presences to come from this flow of understanding of money and allowing ourselves fearlessly to open ourselves to receive this gift, knowing that if you don't use it to make this planet a place of pure love and joy, it's not going to stay anyway. And you are a part of the planet. So you will make yourself experience your world as a world that is filled with pure love and joy. And through you, you open yourself up to do that for the planet. So when you get attached and, want to hoard more and more, the energy of money won't stay. It will not take you very long. You just, have a go. Have a go at allowing yourself to receive it, and then, just for the sake of an exercise, get hoarding with it. Within a matter of sometimes even just a few hours, you'll see whatever it is that was creating the flow will get interrupted. So this is the second flow that makes, is taking us towards culminating into a flow of prosperity. It is the flow of the energy of money as a gift from our Creator given into our hands to make this planet a place of pure love and joy. The third flow is the flow of love. So just like money is a very powerful energy source, it has been infused with all this power that has been given to us, given by us to it. Similarly, the same thing has been done with love. A huge amount of power to disempower love has been given by us to this force. And pretty much most of you here know my perspective on love. Love is who you are as a human. That's your innate vibe. And because it is an innate vibration of humans, When humans choose to be, you become love. A human being basically is the title given to the love frequency playing out. Human is just a form. When that form starts to encompass a way of being, the first thing it does is brings in this beingness of love. So if you are out of flow in that, you cannot experience a flow in prosperity. Because when you are out of flow in that, you're literally disconnected from the innate vibration of who you are. Now, what takes you away from flow in love? It's actually very simple. Something we do so often, which is we seek love outside of us. We seek fulfillment in love through us giving love to people and places and things and experiences outside of us. You can have a loving experience. You can have a loving relationship. And, rejoice in how that plays out. That loving relationship does not come from you giving love to someone else. It is an emergence of two beings coming together as love. It really is as simple as that. Just really getting that you are love. And the moment you go into, oh, I feel so sad at, this person having done this to me and that to me, and I wasn't loved, or whatever else that might have played out in the past. All of those dialogues and language that still languishes in our field as energy signature in the form of unrequitedness or in the form of something really nasty having been done to us plays out in all the new relationships too. So to bring flow into this third flow that culminates into the flow in prosperity is to know that you are love. And just operate from that space. Be love. Really, you be love. You will be loved. You become the beloved. But first become your beloved. But even there, you're disconnecting love from you. So just first step is be love. We have many, many, many hours and hours and hours of recordings on my YouTube channel, Expect and Accept Miracles. It's called Beyond Meditation. So for you to really get into the vibe of being love. Because when you be love, you activate this human form to become that pure, true expression of being human. And we talk about, this behavior or that behavior, and we classify certain ways in which people behave as inhuman. But really, what is inhuman is seeking love outside of you. Even in you just simply acknowledging yourself as a human, receiving yourself as a human, accepting yourself as a human, you bring in that knowingness or that you are love. And when you are love, nothing inhuman will flow through you. Just doesn't. That energy does not land. Dots won't connect. You'll have to work really hard at being inhuman. So all that damage that got caused to our planet and many, many species came from humans disconnecting themselves. And in fact, proactively, giving their power away, the power of their core to others, which is love, to things outside of them. It's a very important, again, just like money, this is another one, which is a very powerful energy force because of how much focus and attention that has been given to it. And it is something that commands that level of attention, because for us to take it away from us, it's like it is like it is us. So it's not just even sticky. It's like you have to take pieces of you energetically out of you when you start looking for love as something that you will get from somewhere else, something or someone outside of you. You put in so much energy as a human to dehumanize yourself by doing that. And all that is needed, all of that has occurred, and it continues to occur, and there'll be some force of habit sometimes that you might continue to do that. But the more and more and more you take your time to reconnect to the fact that you are love, that brings that flow back into this very important force that exists. It's interesting. The innate vibration of nature in terms of trees and stuff is not love. It is okayness, which is wonderful. They want humans to be human and bring with them this amplifying frequency of love. It's a very powerful vibe. So as the humans step into the love that they are, they amplify all that is. Nature starts to amplify okayness, and it is a beautiful dance of it's okay to be truly, madly, deeply, in love with yourself, and just, be the love that you are. The fourth flow is actually flow itself. It's really about understanding what, and this is understanding the what, not the how, understanding the what components that have you experience the yumminess, unequivocal yumminess in experiencing flow. So this fourth flow is flow itself. Really getting to grips with what are the individual component parts that make up you in your flow, in such a way that when you connect with that flow feeling, it's a yummy one. There is no yuckiness at all. There is no lack of feeling. There is simply yumminess. It is the what, it is not the how. This is a very important distinction to bear in mind. I've done this exercise and I know how easy it was for me to slide into so many things that I wrote on my list. They were all actually hows. So my first cut of making this list of what is it that keeps me in that unequivocal yumminess around flow, it was a long list. And it's only on closer examination, I realized actually the number of whats are very few. But we have so many hows that where the yumminess disappears, what you can get and put in place. How requires adaptation, and especially at a time now when uncertainty is certain. Change is constant. Unknown is the known. Becoming attached to any how, any type of how, can easily take that yumminess away, and suddenly you are depleted of flow. So for you to be flowing in flow calls you to discern between the what, how, and all of that, but really distill the what's. What gives you that experience of complete yumminess? So an example of a what, for me, what I discovered was it was ecstatic dancing, where, I mean, it's bizarre. It's ecstatic dancing in the yoga barn in Bali with Locke as the DJ. Like that 90 minutes, me doing my own thing with 400 other people doing their thing. Didn't matter that there was just no one else there. There was just me and me dancing to the rhythm of my body, to the rhythm of my senses. The how wasn't that there, but actually when I wrote about ecstatic dancing, I wrote so many of the hows, which actually didn't matter. None of the hows, man, didn't matter that people were doing their own community dance and stuff. It didn't matter. I could still simply just show up there with my body, knowing that we are going to completely get into sync with the rhythm of where my body wishes to move next. It didn't matter the hows of it had to be done a certain way, and the space had to be set up in a certain way, and all of that disappeared. So for me, that was a useful understanding of a what. It's very practical. It's a very doable thing. It's not esoteric. It's something that you can act on, and you can actually give it all forms of renditions. And if you aren't already experiencing how take nothing for granted as a modus operandi is playing out big time at this time, getting attached to the how just takes you away from flowing in flow. The fifth flow. The fifth flow is a flow of abundance. I mean, I thought prosperity, abundance, it's all one and the same thing. I mean, it's the secret lies in the nuance. So a flow in abundance is, in fact, it's a different mindset altogether. And it's a mindset of generosity. And you can then apply that generosity to money, to love, to rejoicing, to everything. So when you are in this flow of abundance, like I'm playing with rejoicing right now. It hasn't been easy, by the way. Playing with rejoicing. This travel to Berlin really did challenge me big time. Because like literally Germany just closed their borders, and overnight they had a whole new form that needed to be filled. And they basically are only allowing, parents, residents, children to show up. And if you are a parent that is coming to meet your child who is also an adult, then there has to be a very good reason why you're coming. Otherwise, you don't need to come. You know, so sure enough, my flight is from Dubai at 5:30, very early in the morning. So I'm there at the airport at 5 a.m. and they have this new form. And they say, well, you know, we'll help you. Don't worry about it. This form only arrived last night. We'll get you to fill it up. And this form goes on and on and on. And okay, I fill everything up. But that's not enough because they need to know that they need to have a copy of my son's residency here. We hold a British passport. They need to know that he is married and there is a marriage certificate. They need to know so they have to have the certificate from the hospital about her due date. And they also needed to know why, if she is from Germany, why her family can't be with her, why I have to travel. All of this is being asked for at 5 a.m. in Dubai, which is like, you know, 3 a.m. or something like that in Berlin. And they won't let me check in. This is at check-in. This is not at immigration. This is at checking in time. So really what I tapped into was the generosity of spirit. Because these people who are checking so many of us in, everyone is having to go through this big form that now has to be filled in and with all that evidence that requires to be provided. There could have been like riots there at the check-in counter. And it wasn't like that. But I mean, I know that I was there really early. I just like to go to the airports really early and go in and be settled in, even if it takes hours before the flight takes off. I just prefer to do that. And I'm glad I did, because by the time I got through security, that was about 45 minutes to the flight. It took that long. But I was literally flowing in the rejoicing vibe. That gave me access to the flow of abundance. And there was a generosity of spirit that I started noticing. It was hard for me to notice what's making my heart sing, because I wasn't sure that if they are not going to allow me to check in, then I wasn't sure that I would actually get here in sufficient time, because then my COVID test would have expired and that whole cycle would start all over again. So I just started noticing the generosity of spirit. And that enabled the abundance flow start to occur, because more and more and more people started stationing themselves into the spirit of what was happening here. It really was a spirit of collaboratively co-creating coexistence, so that we would not jeopardize or risk each other. And the flight would be a safe flight. So it's very interesting. This is occurring in all over the world in its own way. This crown phenomenon has made that available, and that is the flow of abundance. And when I worked with it, I got that this abundance piece is really the richness that we are talking about. I felt my life was so rich during those hours that I went through. And it was a whole different thing that started all over again when I got to Frankfurt with the immigration officer. But by that time I had all these documents. However, I have a British passport. Britain is no longer in the EU. So it is like any other country that requires a Schengen visa, which are not being given anymore. No tourist visas are being given. So it was a very different line of inquiry that happened with the immigration officer here. But again, I remained present to the generosity of spirit. And they were all apologizing for what they were doing, but it was just like they really want to protect us and protect, each other. So the flow of abundance, like when you engage with this, bringing this flow into your life in the context of it doing its part, playing its part to culminate into the flow of prosperity, you really are looking at the flow of that generosity of spirit. It's the abundance that comes from celebration and rejoicing in this generosity of spirit. That is what has us experience that wonderful joie de vivre, spiritedness of us. And it becomes an inspiration. In spirit, you get stationed. That's the beauty of this flow. The sixth flow that contributes to what ultimately culminates into the flow in prosperity. So this is actually a rhythm, and it's a rhythm of tracking that which takes you out of flow. So the focus here is more on the low vibe stuff, where you are noticing that which comes in and takes you out of flow, and you're allowing it to flow out of you. But you're not doing it blindly. Now, here's the thing that I'm getting, by the way, that one of the unifying factors that strengthens all of these different elements of flow that culminate into the flow in prosperity is conscious awareness. So being aware on being aware. So here you're directing your awareness to those elements that take you out of flow, not because you're going to analyze them or process them. You are literally going to ensure wherever there may be a block within you, you open that up so that it flows out. If it has come into you, it flows out of you. So allowing that which takes you out of your flow to flow out of you, not with harshness. Flowing out of you equals you keep moving forward. Beating yourself up because you did something that takes you out of flow, or doing something really harsh or engaging in a big, long process, you literally become, at this time when the current is a flowing current, you become a stationary object that starts getting corroded. So how you implement this is very different than how you might have done in the past. This particular flow, working with this particular one, literally dissolves, disintegrates that insatiable desire to work very, very hard. You literally hardly work at all. Because all you're doing is just being vigilant. This is more about vigilance than it is about discernment. You've already partnered with your body with some of the other flows that I've talked about. Here, you're just being vigilant. This is a low vibe that's come in. And if you feel a low vibe because of what someone said or someone did or something you saw on TV, we immediately go to blaming something outside of us. There is nothing to blame. That low vibe gets anchored in your field. You can feel whatever you feel about something external that has occurred. I'm not saying that don't. I'm not saying that you positive incant your way out of, being disturbed about certain things. No, I'm saying feel what you feel. Acknowledge that in its entirety. But if it's hit you in such a way that you're feeling that low vibe, allow it to flow out of you. Putting your life at hold because you're now going to go into a process to deal with it. You won't. You will just get corroded by the flowing current. Simply be vigilant and keep flowing. This is the year where you have been presented with an ongoing, stream, and you have an opportunity to swim downstream all the time. And the seventh flow that culminates into the flow in prosperity. This is about well-being. And I use the term well-being a lot, and really what came through was wellness. Spirit did not use well-being. They said this is the flow of wellness. So I still haven't quite gotten what the difference is, because it all looks like well-being in how I've defined in the past. But I'm sure as I work with it, I will pick up the nuance and I'll share with you when I do. But it is about a flow in wellness. And when we talk about a flow in wellness, we are talking about thriving on all cylinders. Wellness, this is the nuance. I get it. I'm getting it. The nuance here is wellness is regenerative. Well-being, you can sustain that well-being. Well-being when that becomes regenerative, is the wellness vibe. So when you start thriving on all cylinders, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental, the flow in wellness starts to regenerate itself. So here's the interesting nuance here. Firing on all cylinders can call you to apply bull force, can call you to come from, I need to lose that weight. I need to be fitter. But when you're talking about thriving on, in all cylinders, there is a softness, there is a gentleness, there is an in tune with the rhythm of you. There is an operating from an inner knowing, all of that comes in. And surviving is taken care of. Firing on all cylinders also occurs without any emphasis or focus on have to, need to, must do, should do. The seventh is the flow in wellness, where well-being becomes regenerative and regenerates itself, thriving across physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, social, and environmental. This is a whole body of work in itself. I mean, it's so interesting. I've spent years in developing the Palace of Extraordinary Miracles, full spectrum well-being programs, protocols. Spent a whole year in silence, receiving this bodies and bodies of work. And I was not allowed to bring them out in their entirety. It's only little slivers that I have shared. I've implemented all of those for myself. And there's certain pieces that still are very work in progress. But what connects them is this thriving piece. implementing those protocols, coming from a thriving mindset, it's a very different approach than coming from a firing mindset. So you will create that for yourself. And when I'm ready and guided to share more of this work, I will share with you. But just know this seventh flow is a big one. It's a flow in wellness where well-being regenerates itself. So those are the 7 flows that come together and culminate in a flow in prosperity. With that vibe of whole and completeness, where all aspects of your life coexist, and whatever resource that you require at the time that you require it gets magnetized to you in exactly the way that you understand it is for you to use and apply. You also understand how it is to be applied. And you develop a trust, and you are able to literally step back and see the dots connect up, and a very powerful emergence of whatever it is that you are resolved about shows up. And that's literally the rising of the Indian goddess of prosperity, which is Goddess Lakshmi. That is that Lakshmi experience. And I will share that on another time when it is a very specific day to celebrate her vibe. But that's how you bring about flow and prosperity. Over to you, Catherine. You can unmute yourself.
I think I'm unmuted. Thank you so much, Mynoo. My jam is all about wellness. So hearing this, I was on a global initiative this morning about wellness, and they said there's one key that's missing. You just answered that key. So, wow, thank you so much. And, I love this, allowing this flow to flow out of you, this thing that's not serving you to flow out of you. I'm just now getting a big, huge aha. And I think that's what happens each time we come together and we hear this wisdom from Mynoo. More and more ahas every moment. So if you'd like to take a moment to put your closing comments in the chat box, I will read those off to Mynoo. Any awarenesses, any ahas, or any words that you'd like to share with Mynoo. Mine is wow. I'm just like blown away, but it's pretty much always wow with these pearls of wisdom. So we have sensational and power packed. Yes, absolutely. I hit a record. I have 17 pages of notes today. I do write large, but that's a record for me. Impeccable and so coherent, Mynoo. Thank you. Flowing in flow, regenerative wellness, and much love. Oh, so very wow. Love. The more you give, the more you get. Aha, aha, aha. The payoff of loving yourself is very awesome. Flowing. Much gratitude. Absolutely brilliant. So much gratitude. Magnificent. Yet again. Namaste. Loving the new understanding of prosperity. Wow. Limitless flow. Wow. You guys all felt the wow. I mean, it really was, Mynoo. You hit the ball.
My brand promise is to deliver the experience of life's wow.
Well done. Mission accomplished. Love the difference between what and how and why to focus on what brings you in the flow. As beautifully understood, flowing with love and prosperity. Asha. Create a place of pure love and joy is music to my ears. Thank you, Mynoo. Great to see everyone and all we are amplifying. Thank you, Catherine, Mynoo, and all. I agree. Thank you all. Let's just thank ourselves for being here and getting this wisdom. People are missing out. Oh my goodness. Great to see everyone. Sorry, I'm reading that one twice because it is so great. Wonderful, Mynoo. Thank you. Cassidy is enjoying this. Maybe that was the little voice we heard. You hit the wow cosmic bullseye. Thank you for this hour that has flowed in me and filled me with love. It really was magnificent. Like, talk about going by in just like record time, Mynoo. Well, it is 6:35. I know we could keep going and going in the flow of flowing, but we must call tonight to an end. And Mynoo, thank you so much. Thank you all for joining. Doesn't it just keep getting better and better, these 108 pearls of wisdom? And I love that we know where we're going with this. Like, this 108 pearls of wisdom, we're not shifting and changing things up. It's just, it really is flowing in the flow. And thank you all. Yes, we have another comment. Thank you. It's 2:30 a.m. here in, can't read that, in Ireland.
Yes.
Aha. Mary, you're there at 2:30 a.m. too. Thank you, Mynoo. So much golden reminders. Yes, thank you all. Let's let Mynoo get some rest, much needed, although I don't know how she fires on all cylinders at all times and doesn't even miss a beat. So much love to you all. We'll see you right here next Thursday or Beyond Meditation.
See you all very soon. Bye-bye.